I know we have you confused because Neville Hall is the mayor of Eden, North Carolina. He's normally here the last Wednesday of the month, but then we missed one, and so now we're making it up, kind of. But you're going to be back again.
We'll be back
so
the last Wednesday of next month. Hopefully, we'll get back on schedule.
Yeah. But it's summertime. You know, things happen. People
Absolutely.
things. But glad to have you here.
Well, thank you, and glad to be here.
It's a few minutes with the mayor, and we find out what's happening in Eden, North Carolina. And we got a lot of things going on in Eden, North Carolina, and we're going to tell you all about that coming up. But I wanted to let's catch up on what's going on with city government right now.
Well, let me first do what I said I'd do last month and bring Matt Smith his button. And I would ask Matt if he might proudly wear that on his hat, because that's where we see his hat most of the time.
There you go. You see him doing the weather. So, all right, Matt, we got one for you there. All right.
Yeah, like you said, City Council, we met on April the 16th. Probably the main thing that came out of that meeting was we had our budget work session where our city manager presented the proposed budget for the council. This year's combined budget with the general fund and the water and sewer is $32,816,000, which, believe it or not, is down 1.54% from last year. So the city manager and the staff, they've done a great job controlling spending and doing everything we can to try to keep the budget as low as we can. So that was something to be proud of. And the council met at our budget retreat, and we went through priorities that council members would like to see taken care of with this year's budget. And you know, you like to hear people say a lot during campaign season that you want to make your city or county or state a great place to live, work, and play.
Right.
You hear that phrase a lot.
All the time.
Well, our priorities turned out to be, and we didn't get, we individually voted on things and decided what we'd like to see. And the one was code enforcement and nuisance abatement. That's where we're going to clean up some neighborhoods, which we've been doing aggressively for years. And I feel like that makes this place a better place to live. Then we have infrastructure improvements and economic development. I think those two things go hand in hand with creating a better place to work. And then we voted, everybody was in favor of continuing to fund the strategic plan, the Positively Eden strategic plan. So that makes us a better place to play. So I think we've done a good job of hitting all the things, hitting the punch items that you want to get to make a good budget, make good use of your budget. And it's also important to note that this was done with no increase in property tax rate. We still have the lowest tax rate of any municipality in the county. No increase in the water or sewer or trash rates, and no increase in the vehicle tax rate that's used for road resurfacing. So it was pretty nice budget work done by our staff, so we're glad, we're happy that it's been presented, and there'll be a public hearing on May 21st at our city council meeting, and copies are available at the city clerk's office if you want to go by and look at it. But it's a nice document, long and well thought out, and like I said, all those things are positive, we believe. So
wow,
got that done.
That's amazing, because a lot of places are still duking it out when it comes to the budget. And I hear a lot of people are not for this or for that, or concerned about this or that, and it's nice to know that that's taken care of. That's one less worry that you have.
It's a big project for the staff and the city manager to put together and try to balance the budget, and they did a great job. And like I said, that's a lot of money, and a lot of time and effort went into balancing the budget. Really, the only other thing from the council meeting I'd like to point out is that we're coming up, it won't be long till June the 1st when we're closing our drop port sites for the recycling like we talked about. The Mebane Street site will continue to be open. It'll be open extended hours on Tuesday through Sunday from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. So if you have recycling, you're going to start in June 1st, going to need to take it down there. So I just wanted to hit on those things that are changing with the city. So. All
right. So let's go and talk about some other things going on. How about industrial development? Anything happening on that front?
Well, first of all, the one everybody loves to hear about is the Miller Coors property. The owners have contracted with a national marketing firm that deals with food and beverage processors. They're actively marketing it. I understand, I haven't seen it because I'm not involved in their negotiation, but I understand they've had a couple of offers, none yet that are suitable for them. I don't know what kind of companies they were, but nothing has been, no offer has been accepted that we know of. But they're getting a lot of attention and activity, which is what we want to happen. And then there's another building, a nice facility in Eden. It's the former SGR Tech's building, and it's supposedly under contract, and they're doing the due diligence, and it should close by the end of May. And then, let's see, there are 2 other existing industries in Eden that plan to expand in 2019 and should create at least 40 jobs in Eden. So we got some stuff happening in the industrial side, so we're excited about that.
I know you're excited about that, and that's always good news. And I'll tell you, food and beverage, that's great.
That's what we need.
If you can get that there, that would be something really great. So we'll look forward to some good news there. How about retail?
On the retail side, I talked about last time we were here about some of the exciting things that may be happening in the former Leaksville downtown in Eden and on Washington Street. And there's a developer that's looking at several properties and has actually acquired a couple and began to do a little bit of the remodeling on a couple of them. And I sent you a picture today.
Right, we got a picture. Jonathan, can we see that first picture? And there we go.
So that's the building. It's at 618 Washington Street. People have probably ridden by it and seen the plywood up on the windows. But the eventual use of those spaces are supposed to be a coffee shop there on the lower level and apartments upstairs. And then we're fortunate that the buyer and developer is willing to put an alleyway which would lead to the parking lot, which we paved last year back behind those buildings on Washington Street, so we get more use out of the parking spaces. So that'll be an alleyway through to Washington Street. So.
I see. Now, when you're talking about that, on the right-hand side, you see that little green area, little block, and you can actually see a person walking through there, and that's and I wondered what that was, and so that's going to be an alleyway.
That's right.
How about that?
To the parking lot that we were lucky to put in last year. So
Very
yeah,
nice.
that'll be nice. It'll be a nice addition to downtown.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully some other retail uses and residential uses will follow right behind. That's what we're hoping for.
All right.
And then there's another building that's sort of been in the process of being rehabbed, and it's at the intersection of Washington Street and Patrick Street.
And
we got a picture of that. Yeah, that's the former Buick dealership from years ago, and the buyer of that has taken the back part where the service bays were and divided that into now what is 4 retail spaces. And that, as you can see, that's a nice looking new retail area. So, and then the front of it is, the intention of his is to develop that as a restaurant and capitalize on the history there as the Hampton Buggy Company. So he will hopefully be working on the restaurant this month, and we'll have some more activity downtown with that. So those are some good news items in downtown. And then one last retail thing to talk about is there's a national fitness center that is in negotiations with the landlord in Eden to open a national fitness chain, and they're negotiating their lease, but they're getting supposedly very close to getting that here. So we're excited about that too.
Can't tell us anything yet.
Well,
I always do this with Jay Donaker too. Can we get a Star News exclusive? But I guess we'll just have to wait it out.
yeah, we don't want to mess anything up. All this stuff's touchy.
So we'll wait it out and see what's going on.
And then lastly, this is not necessarily retail, but it's actually a mix of both. Our city staff has applied for a $750,000 historic renovation sub-grant program. It's for redevelopment of several properties, and they listed the properties that were on the grant. So we're hoping we get all of that or some of that so that we can help with some of these projects that are going to be done. But $750,000 will go a long way in the redevelopment area. So we're excited about that.
Good luck there.
Thank you.
Hope that works out. And I know Mike and
Randy.
everybody's working really hard to get that going, so always be there. Now, of course, there's a lot of things going on in Eden this month. I mean, there's just Eden, and next month too. It's just like Eden is jam-packed with events.
Right. You can't say there's nothing to do in Eden.
And that's right. That's exactly right. Let's go through some of them and tell everybody what's happening.
Yeah, I'll run through some of the events, and like always, we'll do them chronologically. And some of them are very self-explanatory, and others will take some time and show some additional information. But the first one is May the 2nd. It's Thursday coming up. We're not ready for the flyer
hang
yet.
on, just come
But
back.
anyway,
that's all right.
On Thursday, May the 2nd at noon, there is a community-wide prayer vigil at the flagpole at City Hall. This is organized by Osborne Baptist Church, and there'll be religious leaders from all throughout the county and community, and they come together. This is in conjunction with the National Day of Prayer. It's at noon at City Hall. It's a pretty short ceremony, but hopefully the weather will hold off, and that's right in front of City Hall at the flagpole. Then May 3rd and 4th is the Eden Youth Council's kickball tournament.
Mm-hmm, right.
We're not ready for a football tournament, but we're getting there because we are working with the football program in Eden. So anyway, it's a kickball tournament, and it's for 3rd through 5th graders. This is a project that the Eden Youth Council works on. They work very hard, and it's the elementary schools, and this is the first one. It's a county-wide. This is the 4th annual tournament. It's from 5:30. It's at 5:30 on Friday night, and then on Saturday it's at 9 o'clock. The kids really enjoy doing it. They pay a small registration fee, and the money goes to the winning school's PE department.
Oh,
So,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
and this year, try to spice it up a little bit, we got the Eden Police Department serving as umpires for the game, so maybe that'll take care of some of the yelling from the stands. I saw Chief Light
you hope.
today. He was proud of his shirt, so
Yeah.
I know that they're looking forward to it, and we're glad that they're willing to do that. Then that same night, May the 3rd, at Freedom Park also, that's where the kickball tournament is. There is the American Cancer Society is having their Relay of Life Survivor Walk. It's at 6 o'clock right there. Y'all have probably been discussing that,
Right.
maybe. But it's right there at Freedom Park. So if you're down for that, you may come over and watch a little bit of the kickball tournament. The kids love it. The bigger crowd we have, the better. And then stay for the Relay for Life walk. And speaking of Freedom Park, I meant to say this earlier, but I was in, this past Saturday, I rode through Freedom Park just to look at some of the construction that's going along and seeing how far along they were. And as I pulled in, there were people, both the baseball fields were in use, and of course teams were waiting to play. The parking lot was full. The track was in use.
Mm-hmm.
Then I drove on down, and both picnic shelters were in use. Went around the corner, the amphitheater, people were having picnics out there.
Right.
2 of the camping sites were rented. The skate park was in use, and both basketball courts. I said, anybody that had anything to complain about Freedom Park, they'd have to come down there and see that, and you'd just be amazed at the
That was this
activity.
past weekend.
This is this past Saturday. And then all this stuff will be happening next Saturday down there as well. So it's a great place to go and take your family. And as you know, the splash pad is under construction. It should be ready by the end of the month, or the end of May, not this month, because today's the end of this month.
Right.
And we also have decided to construct a couple of bocce ball courts. That's a pretty popular sport, especially with seniors. They like to play bocce ball, and it's fun to play. I've played it too, and it's so we're going to have a couple of those courts. Should be ready by mid-May to use down at Freedom Park. So we're working hard to keep Freedom Park expanding too. So that's a good thing.
And let me give you a warning: when you go to Freedom Park, make sure you wear your sunscreen, because Jonathan Mills, our producer, was it this past weekend, Jonathan? I think you were there. He was there this past weekend and got a sunburn on top of his head.
Well, you should wear sunscreen.
I know,
everywhere,
so-
not just in Eden.
So wear your sunscreen. But he was talking about that, and he was telling me about the pad, the water.
Yeah, the splash pad.
Splash pad.
So it's
And
nice. It's
he
coming along.
Said it was really coming
it's
along,
gonna be
really
nice.
So
we're looking forward to having that open by the time it really gets hot. You can go in there and get under the shade, maybe. Get in one of those mushrooms.
there you go, and just relax all day. Well, that would be a picture, wouldn't it?
It would. Then May the 4th, the next day, is it's the Eden Youth Fishing Derby. It's at the Fireman's Hut in Eden, and it's pretty self-explanatory. The kids can go and fish in the pond, and they'll have contests. Then May the 11th, back at Freedom Park, there's a Fun Fest. That's going to be going on all day at Freedom Park that morning, May the 11th, and they'll have games and concessions and those kind of things. So keep an eye out for that. Again, there's something wonderful happening at Freedom Park. Then that night, May the 11th, is where we're ready for the first slide.
Here we go.
This is another big event for the city. This is Oink and Ale. It'll happen from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock on the 11th. As you can see, this is a busy flyer, but it's on Monroe Street in Eden. They have confirmed at least 5 breweries will be represented, as well as the Rotary Club's beer garden. Then food will be served by the Little Pork Shop and Tim Biggs Barbecue, and I'm sure there'll be some other people serving too, and even Kona Ice is going to be there. So it's shaping up to be a nice event. The band is On the Border. That's that Eagles tribute band that was going to be at Riverfest. They're coming back to honor our contract from Riverfest that got canceled, so we're glad to have them here. And I've been to this event every time, and it seems to get better and better, and I would encourage anybody to come out if you're in town and could come by and see the event. It's a lot of fun.
I love the name Oink and Ale.
Oink and Ale.
And people, I hear people from all over saying that they've been before and loved it.
Yeah.
So it's quite an event.
It's moved later in the day so that the weather's not so brutal in the afternoon, but yeah, it is a good name, good event. So it's well attended, and hopefully more people will come this year.
So it's May the 11th.
May the 11th.
All right.
May the 14th is another busy day. That's a Tuesday. Starting off at 8 o'clock in the morning, there's a chamber coffee, Eden Chamber of Commerce coffee, which will be held at Grogan Park in Eden. So that's at 8 o'clock in the morning if you feel like getting up and coming down for some coffee and networking. That's a fun time. But on the same day, May the 14th, from 12 o'clock until 2 o'clock, again at Grogan Park, right by City Hall, is the day of the Fiesta in the Park. I think we have a flyer for that one.
There we go. Yeah.
This is a Hispanic Heritage Festival. It's really designed, or it's originated around fifth graders coming and enjoying some Spanish food and music, and they have games, photo booth, and this will be all the fifth graders from Eden will be there, and they really enjoy this event, and they have a mariachi band, so it's a lot of fun if you can come by and catch some of that too.
I was going to say, if people wanted to come,
absolutely.
I mean, there's fifth graders there. Can they still come?
Yes, it's open to the public, and it's in our beautiful Freedom Park, or Grogan Park, right by City Hall. So it should be easy to find you a parking spot and walk up there and check it out.
All right, and that we've posted this on Facebook too,
okay.
On our Facebook page. So check it out.
Yeah. Then on May the 18th, there is at the Dwayne Best Auditorium at Morehead High School. They're having the Rockingham County Senior Games Heritage Arts Display and the Performing Arts Competition. This is an event that it'll be at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I went last year, and it's a lot of fun to see the talent of our seniors around town or around the county. So try to think about coming out for that on May the 18th. All right.
Support our seniors.
Seniors, that's right. The next one we have a slide for is May the 23rd. This is a Grown and Gather. This is the second spring. This is actually the second event, but it's not been a year because we've added a second time for it. So this is a spring event, and it's on May 23rd at 7 o'clock. It's at the Spray Mercantile Building down by the canal. Again, same place as last time. The menu has been set. The music will be provided by the Morehead Jazz Ensemble. So that'll be an great entertainment there. It's on the canal overlooking a great setting. So hopefully everybody who's around will buy a ticket and come to that. And actually, about half of the tickets have sold already, and there's limited seating. So if you'll contact Cindy Adams about getting a ticket, that would be wise to go ahead and do that if you're planning to come.
And you can get in touch with Cindy at Eden City Hall.
Yes.
All right.
And that number, I think her number's on the flyer as well. I couldn't be positive.
Mine is so small.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to. It's call her at City Hall.
623-2110.
I mean, mine's really small. I mean,
Okay.
you see how small it is.
Yeah.
So.
Saving print ink.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And then moving along, the June the 1st, another big event we have a flyer for is the Pottery Festival. This has been going for, I think this is the 17th annual, but it's a big draw for Eden. We get a lot of people from out of town who come to this, not just as vendors, but also to shop there and see the pottery that people create. It's from 9 to 4. It's in a new location. This year it will be at the First Presbyterian Church. It, for a long time, has been in the Kingsway Shopping Center, and it's going to be moved this year to First Presbyterian Church. That's kind of over behind Walmart if you have any trouble. That's on June the 1st from 9 to 4. So please come by and support that event so it can keep growing and keep happening. So that should get us through June, May and all up till June. And
well, I'm going to tell you, there's always something going on, and I think with Oink and Ale and with all of these events, and when you mentioned, you were talking about the Grown and Gather dinner, and you've actually added one for the spring and one for the fall. And I think that just goes to show you that there's so much going on with all of the things happening, and when you have to expand events because you want to try to get everybody in and get everybody there, I mean, that's really a feat.
Yeah, we're excited about that, and like you said, all these events are fun and continue to grow, and we like to have options for people to have things to do right here at home. Then so that got us through the events. I think the next thing I would like to talk about is there was a group last Saturday on April 27th. There's a group in a neighborhood that came together and had a community cleanup. And I was able to go by there, but they had basically finished with the cleanup. But they started this event, or started this project 9 years ago, and just because they want to make their neighborhood look better. They come together, they clean up, they pick up trash, they rake leaves, collect broken limbs, clean out ditches, really anything else that needs to be done. And it's been organized by Ms. Dorsey Reed. And so when I was there, she told me that Mr. Lonnie Dillard was a right-hand man, and I talked to him a little bit, and I knew he'd be watching tonight, so I told him I'd say hello to him. But they have the neighbors just come together and do this, and I asked her to provide me with the list of some of the names that were there, and
Sure.
I apologize if we miss anybody, but Pete Hampton, Alan Graves, Henry Dillard, Melvin Harrison, Donald Lee Harrison, Charles Hicks, Donnie Harrison, and Jermaine Jackson. And then, of course, Dorsey Reed and Lonnie Dillard. Well, then when they finish, after they clean up the neighborhood, they come together and share a meal. It's provided by donors and volunteers. And some of the people that help with that were Thelma Foster, Elwana Harrison, Cordelia Mills, and some others. So those are the kind of things that we like to celebrate. These are people that are not just saying we wish there was a litter problem. They're out doing something about it, and we encourage anybody to take initiative and clean up your neighborhood and pick up anywhere you see trash. And we keep harping on that. So just don't litter. I mean, Rockingham County is not going to tolerate it. And thanks to these people that come together and clean up their neighborhood to have to pick up after somebody else, but they do it, and we're thankful for that. So I did want to thank them, and we intend to recognize them at a city council meeting soon too. So
Fantastic job to all of you for doing that. That's a wonderful effort to do something like that. I think you're proud of your Eden City employees too, aren't you?
I do. I want to point out, and this is hot off the press. It's actually maybe a little bit early to release this information, because I would just happen to be in City Hall today when I found out what this total ended up being. The Eden City employees throughout April did a fundraiser. Different groups did different things for fundraisers. The police department grew a beard, and you paid to grow a beard, or you could pay to wear jeans in some department. Anyway, they kept these things running for a month, and the thing ends today. And the proceeds all go to the Barry Joyce Cancer Center, operated by Jennifer Joyce, Barry's daughter. And it's just a great organization that helps people that are struggling with cancer and treatments. And that you need to just read up on this company or this organization if you don't know. But I just happened to be there when they came in and announced that they had the totals from the group, and the City of Eden employees had donated over $3,500.
Fantastic!
In April.
Wow!
So that just shows. I mean, we got great employees that are community driven, and I'm excited about that. I think that's a big statement to our community, what these city employees are willing to do.
And I think too, and I think a lot of credit goes to the Barry Joyce Cancer Fund, because I know that when my dad was going through cancer treatments, that a lot of people there was a lot of, I found out a lot about the Cancer Fund and how they help people in the community, and I think it's fantastic. So great job there, Eden City employees. Believe it or not, we're out of time. But time went by quickly, and I will make sure that Mr. Smith gets his I Love Eden button, and I have mine. Ken Eccles has his, and so now Matt Smith has his, and I'll keep it in a safe location until I see him. But thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, Neville Hall is the mayor of Eden, North Carolina. A few minutes with the mayor comes your way each and every month right here on Star News Reidsville.